if you treat people with high respect with no money or a little bit of money, you're going to treat them that way with a lot of money. And people see that, like, because it's not about money, it's about how you take care of people. And when you take care of people, they take care of you.
Well, hello and welcome to Leading Ladies Podcast, Past, Present, and Future, where we interview guests that are champions for the stories and careers of women in entrepreneurship and entertainment. I'm Antoinette, your host, here with my co-host, Renee Paige.
Hello.
On today's show, we have Bernadette Spees. She is an actor and director with 20 years plus in the industry. As an actor, Bernadette has performed in theaters all throughout the country. Directorial credits include theater and film. Notably, in February of 2020, The Bluest Eye, Bernadette had a 6-week sold-out production. I tried to get tickets and could not. Most recently, Bernadette's film PRIVOKE won the 2021 Audience Choice Award for the Women of Color Unite in Entertwine's 48-hour film festival by Horror Film Festival competition, and is happily married with 2 beautiful children residing in California. Welcome, Bernadette.
Welcome.
Thank you, ladies. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes.
Well, I'd like to start with like a little rapid fire questions, if we can.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Hopefully I can keep up. Let's do it.
Whatever pops in your head, just first thing. Okay. What's your favorite book?
The Color Purple.
Oh.
Nice. Okay, if you could have coffee with one person, who would it be?
Oh my gosh. Can they be dead? No.
Yeah, dead or alive?
They can be. Yeah, dead or alive.
Ntozake Shange.
Who is that?
Oh, Ntozake Shange wrote the For Color Girls. So she's a poet, author. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. I'm going to have to look her up.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
If you were to switch careers tomorrow, what would you try?
I would probably become like a horse herder.
Ooh, fun.
Love horses. Love horses.
I love horses, yes.
Yes, love horses.
What's your number one advice for self-care?
Quiet. Find a quiet place. Find a quiet place to meditate, gather your thoughts, center yourself. That's my number one advice.
Yes.
Seems to be a reoccurring theme on our podcast.
Yes.
It's too loud. Everything is just way too loud. You have to kind of,
We got enough voices in our head.
Ooh, child, let me tell you.
What is one of the best investments you made under $100 in 2021?
Oh my gosh. Under $100. Did I make an investment then? Yeah, I did. I bought some sea moss.
Ooh,
Me too.
To eat?
In tea? Was it in
I bought
tea?
a couple. Well, no, I bought it already ready-made in canisters and mason jars. Just because it was a great deal, it was a great sale, and I was like, let's do this.
Okay.
Nice.
I bought the tea.
Okay, what's the first thing you do every morning?
The first thing I do every morning is I stretch. I get up out of bed and I thank God for waking me up, and then I stretch. So I like to have a quick little prayer thanking God for allowing me to be awake and alive and breathing. And then I stretch to get my body mobilized.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
What's your favorite podcast?
The Bama podcast by Marty Solomon.
Okay.
What's their podcast about?
It's actually a study of the Eastern perspective of the Bible. So it teaches you all about Jewish history, culture. It just delves into, he's a Messianic Jew, so he delves into the Bible from a completely different perspective. And I've learned so much in these last 2 years listening to that podcast. And it's so interesting. So incredibly interesting. So, yeah.
Oh, gotta check it out.
Mm-hmm. That's my favorite so far. I have a list, but that's my favorite so far.
Hopefully we'll go on that list.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I've already, I think I put one of your podcasts on my story.
Oh, really?
I didn't even notice. Where am I?
I forgot to I think, did I tag you? I may not
Did you
tag
tag me? Oh,
You
It was
tagged
when
me.
you put it up. Yeah, I didn't. I don't think I tagged anybody. I think I just was on your you followed me. I clicked. I was like, oh, because it's a red background, and there
Yeah.
was talking, and I posted it on my story.
Oh,
The
thank
Bernadette Speaks.
you.
That,
You're
oh my goodness, feel honored.
Yeah,
Feeling
absolutely.
the love.
I was like,
Yes,
wait, this is their podcast. I'm gonna go ahead and
yes, that's an honor.
Aw, of course, you guys are awesome. You're doing
Thank you.
things. You're doing things, and I want to support.
And
And
that's
yeah,
what we're here for. That's why we're doing this podcast, is for women supporting and embracing and uplifting our fellow women and the next generation.
yes.
That's really important. Yes.
So speaking of that, what's one piece of advice that you would give yourself if you were just starting out as an actress?
Don't be so hard on yourself and enjoy the journey.
That's hard to do.
It is.
It is very
It
hard
is.
to do, but I look back at how I was. I was so like, I gotta, that mindset of I've got to be perfect, or everything's got to be right, or I've got to, you know, it was too high of an expectation to have, and then I totally just missed being in the moment, being present, and enjoying it, enjoying every aspect of what I say I love to do. Right? Yeah. So I would tell my younger self, like, don't sweat the small stuff. Be
Yeah.
honest, be authentic, and enjoy it.
Yes.
Well, I have been told that ever since, pursuing my acting career. And it only clicked like after working with you.
What?
Yeah. Like
Are you
everyone
serious?
tells you that. Everyone's like, just enjoy the journey, enjoy the ride. And after being on enough sets, maybe it was why I want to work with you. I was like, wow, I really enjoyed the set when I worked with Bernadette. And it made me realize what is the fun part about being on set with you. I told you.
Yeah.
I know you did, but I'm always like really, I'm always, you want people to feel that, and you hope that people walk away feeling that, and they want to come back and work with you again, and that they see that you're consistent in who you are, how you work, how you treat people, but it's really encouraging to hear that what you try to manifest and lay out before people actually is very real, and they feel it and they experience it and they have a great time. And it's hard work, but you're not you're working with people that you love, and the camaraderie and the collaboration is there, and so you don't mind it being hard work, so
Yeah.
look, Antoinette, you're my ride or die. That's why you've been on 3 projects with me. You are my ride or die. I can always count on you. I love it.
Oh, well, thank you. It's nice to get compliments.
I felt welcome when I first met you too. Like you walked up to me, you was like, "Yeah, Renee, did you get my such and such test?" I was like, "Oh," that's Bernadette. So I was like, "Yeah." And then you came back, you was talking to me like we knew each other. I was like, "Okay." I was like,
Yeah,
"Oh, the
you
Bernadette
were
Speaks."
on. Yeah, you were on top of your game. I thoroughly enjoyed meeting you when we did Deadfall. So
Oh,
yeah,
was
you were
an
on top of your
honor.
game. I was so proud of you. I didn't get to meet you when I went to see Gritty. I didn't get to meet you. I knew Reggie, but I just think that anytime you have a vision and a dream and you can actually implement it and see it from start to finish, that's huge. That everybody can't do that. Everybody doesn't do that. You know what I mean? And especially women, not allowing anything to stop us, not allowing people to say what we can or cannot do. And I know that story is very important to you. So I'm excited to see it, in a full length
Yes.
feature, and like
Yes.
all the people that are going to be touched by it.
Actually, you might be in it, Bernadette, because I was sitting there like, I was like, oh, she could be this person. So yes, I would be honored. But you know what? Y'all were talking about manifesting and not being so hard on yourself. I'm starting to learn that finish is better than perfect. So a lot of times I'm like, okay, everything has to be perfect before I get started. Now I'm learning, just get started, and as you grow, you can course correct. You learn things. It doesn't have to be
Absolutely.
perfect right away. Long as you start and long as you finish. So I'm learning that done is better than perfect. So I've
Oh
been
yeah.
hard on myself. So like doing this podcast, like Antoinette and I, I'm still learning how to do a ring light, but it's okay. I'm here. I'm showing up. I'm present. So I'm manifesting and I'm learning, and it's okay. So
Yeah, I
that's
think
just part of
as
the.
women, right? As women, we just feel like the competitive market is so like men can do things. They can actually. I'm not trying to be overly general, but let's be real. Men can be mediocre and still be able to get hired, get the money, get the positions. You know what I'm saying? And women um, have to. We can't do that.
Right.
We're always kind of put in a pigeonhole position where we have our first stint out the gate has to be perfect, and so um but I think that robs us of the lessons that we need to learn, you know what I mean? And so I think the most important thing is showing up, is
Yeah.
saying I completed this, and always knowing like we're ever growing and evolving, so every project that we do is going to be different. We're going to learn from what we just did and then move on to the next one. And I think if we're open to that, every project will be special, and it'll get better and better and better. And you'll start figuring out your voice, you know, your like signature thing that you do, how you do
Hmm.
it. I we're in a business of subjectivity, right? So it's subjective. People are either
Yeah.
your fan or they're not your fan, or overly critical, where it's
Oh.
just like, shut up. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
like you want to tear this down, but what you doing? You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like you have to protect not only your own psyche and your own creativity, but I think also the circle, the community in which you work, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. And it's like, if you have criticism, just help me. Just call and say, "Hey,
Right.
Renee, maybe if you try to do this, this would work or whatever," or help me fix my crown instead of laughing at me because it's crooked. So,
Right.
yeah.
Just baby, come here. Come here. All right, you perfect. Go on out. Go on, do your thing
Yes.
now. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, but that's
Celebrating each
also
other is
why
so
we're
important.
all have what we're good at. Like, we're all good at different things because someone that understands, finance or whatever, that's why they're the money person. They understand the numbers. Now you need to help me and share me with that knowledge, or help me with my taxes, makeup artists, like I'm not that way inclined. So I
Yep.
need an expert to tell me about that. Like, I can't learn that, Look, I choose not to. I don't want to clog my brain up with that. So I'm glad someone else cares about it more than me and knows
Yeah.
it.
Absolutely. And look, I believe in the age of specialization. You specialize in that? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Like, then you should be, I'm going to have you on my team, because then I know that I have a professional who specializes in this and I don't have to worry about it. It's one less thing
Exactly.
that I have to have in my brain to try to figure out how to do, and that's what I love. I love collaboration. You know that. I love it. And even in the
Yeah.
last project that we worked on, it was definitely, we were throwing some curveballs that I was like, okay, I don't know how it's going to work out, but we keep talking about it. And we're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
And all the shots that we had to restructure or push to the next day, we got everything in. We got
Yep.
everything done. And I felt like the things that we came up with as a solution were even better than what we originally were going to
Yeah.
do. You know what I mean? Like looking at the dailies and things like that. And that was like, not just me. That was the team that was there saying, hey, what about this? Did you think about that? Talking all the way through it, because everybody was on the same page to see the project be successful.
Yeah.
So
Okay, Miss Director, how are those dailies?
Yes.
they look good. They do. We have another beautiful film. Like, I'm so, yeah. We have a Happy Place is going to be a really beautiful film, and I can't wait. It's in post right now. The the VFX is being worked on right now, and the editor just got the drive because I had to send it to him because he's on the East Coast, and he's gotten the drive, and so yeah, I can't wait to see the rough draft of the
Can
first
I
edit.
celebrate my acting debut in this?
Absolutely, absolutely. We have to reshoot like one of the end scene, which was the most difficult, which was the last scene, the commercial scene. Dave and I both looked at each other and knew we're going to have to reshoot this, and so we were okay with moving on and figuring that out later. And luckily, I did not use all the money in the budget. I'm very proud of that.
That's a plus.
Very proud of that. And have money to put towards reshooting this week.
Awesome.
But you're used to that, Bernadette, because like my first movie that I saw you in that I fell in love with you and you were just awesome is Love Jones. So I know that because like your scene, like I remember when they had the scene, y'all was at the party at the house and you got up and started dancing. I was like, look at her.
Oh,
Come on now, Savon.
Bring it back. Exercise that. Gas it out, man. Come on, man. No, she. Hey, man, stop playing with that. Oh my God.
So you're used to maybe having to do retakes over and over to get it perfect, and then so you're used to that, right? As an actress.
Yeah, I'm not the actor that okay, I just have to stay on the script. I can't deviate from the script.
Okay.
And I got that training early on in theater because when you do live theater, anything can happen.
Yeah.
And you got to be quick on your toes to cover not only yourself but your castmates that are on the stage with you. It's live. It's not like you can redo it. You know what I mean? So I think that's what makes it fun and exciting is when you stay open to being given like a curveball and you can run with it and see what beauty can be made out of it. You know what I mean? So yeah, but it's very different being an actor and getting like an improv situation that you can play off of versus being a director and told that you have to pack up everything and kind of sit around for 2 hours. Trying to figure out how am I going to make up this day, when I'm fighting with the light and all that stuff. But it's kind of like the same.
That's the creativity.
Yeah, the same muscle of creativity you got to learn. And you can't be mad at it, man. You just can't. You got to be open so that the creativity can flow.
Learn how to deviate course quickly.
You know what I'm saying? Adapt and overcome. So yeah, that's what makes it fun.
Well, what would be one of your favorite projects that you've worked on, either directing or acting or producing, since you do it all, multifaceted,
Yeah.
Right? You write?
Yeah, I do. I just really started that. I definitely am a content creator. I'm a storyteller. I can construct a story, but recently I just wrote a short that I submitted for a project, and then I am going back and looking at other things that I began that I feel now very empowered to complete. But to answer your question, so can I do it in genres, like what my favorate thing in genres are? Because I can't.
Oh yeah, that sounds fun.
I can't pick one thing. So so in acting, man, I think my all-time favorite definitely. I've done a lot of amazing things, but I think Love Jones will always be my all-time favorite. I think because we just were such a tight unit that we were working with, and most of our stuff was improv before we even got into the script. And Ted just kind of let us do that, and I think that's why people really loved the movie, because you just saw this genuine like tit for tat against each other, like what friends do, and he definitely wanted that. And so to be able to bring that to the table and then go right into the script, oh my gosh, everybody just was so excited to come to work every day, And so it's always going to be my all-time favorite. In regards to theater, my favorite play that I've directed is The Bluest Eye.
Oh yeah, that we could not get tickets to.
I'm sorry.
No, I was too slow.
I think, it blew me away to not be part of a theater company, so to speak, and be a director and have it sold out from previews on. But I think all the stars aligned, like God totally aligned that show, because I had an amazing cast. And I had such support from the Hudson Theater, the producer, my set designer. Like, my team was so tight. And then to be able to do a Toni Morrison piece and really and then meet her son and then do a gala, and then it was And what was funny is we did not get reviewed. Don't ask me why, because but we were sold out. We were sold out for 6 weeks.
You didn't get a review?
And never got a review. Yeah, but we were sold out for 6 weeks. So literally, instead of it being like, oh my God, did you read the reviews in the newspaper, and people coming out from that, it was all word of mouth. It was all word of mouth. And I think that's the best marketing, because when you're passionate about something, your friends want to go see what you are passionate about. And that, yeah, it was just crazy. And then I think the other thing was
that's how many people love you too.
Yeah.
Thank you. But I think it was amazing because we got extended before we even went into like our fourth week, because we ran for 6 weeks, and we got extended. And right when we ended the show, the pandemic happened, like literally.
Yeah.
Like we ended March, I think it was March 3rd, and then that following 10 days later, everything just shut down.
It
was,
wow.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Just lined up.
So,
yeah.
Yep. And then in film, my most favorite thing, I think it was the 48-hour film festival competition. Even though I really love doing Happy Place, but I think that just kind of, man, it was a whirlwind of.
Had you done a 48-hour film festival before?
I had never done it. So you're doing horror. You're finding out what you got to write the day that at 9:00 that night, and then getting it done in enough time so you could start shooting, and then getting off these incredible shots. Like, because Dave came to the location to see it, and because it's 48 hours, so he had done one, so he's sticking to the book. We're not really doing our shot list because we're not supposed to, right?
Yeah.
Right. So, and I don't have a script to do the shot list. So it was literally like, I know I want something in here. I know I want to use these stairs. Here's the living room. Here's the, like just taking video and kind of being creative with this big, like it was like we had this huge canvas. How are we going to sketch and then color it in, kind of thing, right? And we kept it broad. And the story was in my head, but I still don't, it's just a story. It's not written on paper, nothing. So yeah, that's totally my favorite, because I felt like so empowered by all you guys, having 24 people wanting to do this for me for free. Like, what? And everybody is like excited and on board and feeling great, and, being able to feed you guys good. And it was just magical for me, magical. And Dave, I had just met Dave on Deadfall.
Right.
I don't know him from Adam.
Us too.
I actually, that's crazy. It's
Me
like,
too.
I didn't know him, and I just called him for advice. Like, I know you did a 48-hour film festival before. Can you give me some pointers? And then when I told him what I was planning on doing, as a script, depending on the Easter eggs they gave us, he was like, well, can I be a part of that? And I was like, are you serious? And he was like, yeah, can I? And I was like, yeah, sure. Yeah, great. And then Ace coming over, who I met from Deadfall. It was just, it empowered me to feel like, okay, yeah, I'm ready. I can do anything. Like, yeah, that's not, And then to win, what? That's crazy.
Right. Yeah.
To win. And to win in an area where I feel like it counts, because it's the audience, right? It's the people watching, the people looking at your work, even though it's not fully complete. And that's the other thing I learned. Like, it's not always about perfection, because we definitely didn't perfect everything in post before we had to get it out. But what we did, I was super proud of. And everybody was like, and just watching you help Victoria, a young actor, but who also wants to be in the post, the behind the scenes as a director, writer herself, and you wrapping your arms around her, and, she felt so taken care of by you, Antoinette. And it was just, yeah.
Oh, how great.
Yeah. So she was super excited to come back for Happy Place, and knowing that you were on board.
She was a surprise when I saw her. I didn't know she was showing up.
Yeah. So those are my three. There you go.
Okay. So can I ask, as far as now that you've directed before and after the 48-hour film festival, which is high intensity, you got to get this done, write, shoot, edit, submit, right? what are, let's say, top 2-3 things, if you have, of what you learned that can help you from the 48-hour film festival and all that rush to now direct?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So the number one thing I would say is patience. Yeah. Like patience and pacing, right?
I like
that.
Okay.
You know, that's the number one thing that I learned, right? Because we got 1 day, 2 days, 2 days, not even. I didn't even feel like 48 hours. It felt like 1 day. So I would say that, pacing myself, and trusting. And then the second one would be trusting my DP.
Yeah.
So if I say, you know what, this is what I'm thinking, and he'll go, that's a little complicated. Or what about this? Oh, I know how we could do that. What about this? Let me just say, show you this, and being open that my vision can be more magnified because of his eye, right? So that would be my second thing. And then my third thing would be to encourage my team, encourage my actors, encourage, because when you do that, people want to do their best work.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And so those are the 3 things that I walked away with, that by the time we got to Happy Place and we were throwing these curveballs, those things were kind of set in place. And so where tempers could have flared, patience could have, been lost, it wasn't. It wasn't. Everybody maintained their cool. Everybody knew that we were all just striving for the same things, and everybody respected each other. And I think if I had a fourth one, if I had another number one, that's the number one, as I believe in respecting people. Yeah. Highly respecting people and setting that bar right at the beginning. Mm-hmm. Right at the beginning, and letting my people know that I'm grateful and I'm appreciative of them. So like we had our opening talk at the beginning of PRIVOKE, but then for Happy Place, we went in overtime, and I pulled the team together, and I said, this is where we are. This is what we have to get done. Mm-hmm. And I would greatly appreciate it if you would stay to help me achieve this. But I know that we're over. And every single person wanted to stay. Yeah. And so I don't take that for granted. So it's like, whether it be a little bit, if you treat people with high respect with no money or a little bit of money, you're going to treat them that way with a lot of money. And people see that, because it's not about money. It's about how you take care of people. And when you take care of people, they take care of you.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
So that's my big thing, moving on to bigger things, bigger projects, is just keeping that standard. And then the sky's the limit, Oh,
I agree.
Yeah. Well, what made you want to switch from acting to directing?
Yeah.
I don't know if I wanted to switch. I think, when I first started out, I didn't think I'd be anything but an actress. Like, you couldn't tell me nothing. I was going to achieve every award. I was going to hit every genre. But I think the older you get and the more you realize, I like being creative. So to sit around and kind of wait for auditions, or to, you know what I mean? Like, that just it started to not sit well with me the older that I got. Right. And I didn't really think, let me move into directing. But I think when I got sick in 2014 and I was kind of faced with life or death, and I came out of it, then I was like, you know what? I want to challenge myself and see if there are other things that I'm just as good at, or that I'm even more passionate about, and be willing to kind of fall forward, in the process of figuring that out. And I was given a play, The Watsons Go to Birmingham. And after that, I was just like, okay. And then I did another play, another reading, and then I was like, okay, can my eye go from stage to film now? Let's see. And it did. And so, yeah, that's kind of how it happened. I mean, I still audition, and I've got some projects that I did a year ago that are now going to be coming out. But I don't know. It's totally two different things. Like, I still feel like as an actress, I haven't accomplished everything that I want to do. And I feel like I'm just scratching the surface as an actress.
Okay, so why didn't we have you in the 48-Hour Film Festival or Happy Place?
because I don't want to act and direct.
Yeah.
You know, like it
Yeah.
has to be something that I really, 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 really want to do for me, because that's difficult. Like, you know, being on a production, that when you're the director, you're in charge of like all the departments, right? And
Yeah.
and how everything is going and who's doing what and scheduling and da 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 da. So to take that off, to take that hat off, now I'm going to put my actor hat on. You know, you have to have, for me, I would have to have somebody that I thoroughly trust that will take care of me and as an actor, that's going to come in and kind of be my second director and make sure that my stuff is authentic and on point.
I feel the same way.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
unless I really want to do that role, to do that and kind of add that extra plate with all the other ones that you juggle, I'd rather just keep it separate, you know?
Yeah.
Act in this project and direct this project, and
Yeah.
you know. And it's so funny, like the one project that I wrote that I submitted, I actually do want to be in that one. That one I would actually do want to act in it and direct it, because
Is
it's
this a play?
No, it's a film.
Okay.
It's a film, but it's a love letter. It's a love letter to other moms. So it's very personal for me. I wrote it from a very personal place. And so I want to do that. But I've already talked to like my mentor to say, you got to come in and help me with this one. That's like, you know, and he totally agreed. He totally was like, oh, absolutely. So, yeah. So I don't, you know, I think in both genres, I am only scratching the surface. I am only just beginning. And I pray I have a long life and a long career to start chopping away at the things that I want to accomplish and do, and you know. Yeah.
Well, speaking of mentors, who were your role models when you were growing up? Like, who were you like, oh my goodness?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, first of all, I'm a late bloomer when it comes to the arts. My mom put me in the arts to keep me off the street, because she's a single parent, and so I didn't really have people per se, because I didn't know growing up that I wanted to pursue the arts, right? I just didn't think, like, even though I'm going to art camp and I'm going to acting camp and this camp and that camp, I'm not thinking, oh, I want to do this for a living. I'm thinking this is just where my mom is sending me for the summer, you know? So I think to start off with, she would be my first role model, because I watched her be faced with a lot of adversity, and I watched her overcome it. And she was a great mom. And I never grew up knowing that I was without anything. And I think that's the gift of motherhood, right? You build on just what you have. And the children don't know the difference. They don't know if they're being loved and taken care of and you're spending time with them. They don't know what they're missing. They don't know what they don't have. You know what I mean? And so my mom is definitely my role model. And I think after I became aware of what I wanted to do and being in the industry, I was really blessed with mentors that believed in me. I went to college and wanted to be an aeronautical engineer. And then I was like a junior and went, I don't want to be an aeronautical engineer. I don't know what I want to do, you know, and I was minoring in theater, and my theater teacher
That's a tough job.
Yeah. And I mean, and to be honest, like, I hated everything about aeronautical engineering except for the drafting part of it, which was the creative part of it, which is what you didn't get to do all the time, you know? And
The design?
yeah, the design, like that was the part I loved, but I didn't get to do it all the time. So it was like really more about the academia of math and science and blah, blah, blah. I was just like, shoot me now. And, and I was the only one, like, you know, because as a junior, you start interning, right? You start interning and getting those. Yeah, I didn't intern anywhere. I was just like, this is a sign that something's wrong. I don't want to do this. And my theater teacher at the time was like, you should think about being an actor. And I just thought he was crazy. And he was like, no, I think you're really good. And I was going to school at a time that there was only 3 Black people in my entire theater program. I was the only one in undergrad, and there was 2 in the master's program. That was it.
Well, I wanted to ask you about that. Like, how is that, affected being an African American in the entertainment industry? And for you, what was your experience? You're already only 3 in your college,
yeah, so
right?
I'm going to college in the South during a time where there was opportunity, but it was still very limited, And I remember they were going to do Little Shop of Horrors. Everybody knows that the 3 kids are Black, right? So I'm all excited that at least I'll get this, get to audition for that particular role or whatever. It was a hit on Broadway, And they completely changed it, and made the 3 girls prostitutes, women of the night.
Oh, what?
Yeah, and they were all white. And then I just ended up being in the chorus.
Oh, wow.
And I was like devastated because I had practiced and I had gotten an accompanist and and yeah. And so even something like that, I couldn't even. So it was just really like, okay, it was the first time that I realized how bad do I want to do this? If it's going to be anything like this, that means that opportunities are going to be limited. It's not like it is now. And I mean, we still have issues now, but definitely back then it was completely different. And so, but I will say that once I made the decision to step into the industry full time, God blessed me with the most incredible mentors, like just incredible. And they're the ones that just kept me going. They're the ones that saw something in me. They're the ones that lit a fire underneath me. And I think without them, I don't know if I would have, because it gets really discouraging, after a while. And you're just like, what am I doing? And why am I doing this? And I know many great, talented people that have had to take a long break, or they've walked away, or they didn't like LA and they had to move, they moved back home, But I've just had people in my life that constantly are like, you're doing it, and not judging that one job I auditioned for or whatever as my value. That dictates my value. And it's hard, right? Actors, it's hard to remind yourself your value isn't in what you book, right? Or you have people that go, so what were you in? What can I see you in? And you're just like, ugh.
I hate that.
Or they're like,
but you have something to show.
Yeah.
You can be like, right here, thank you very much.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and to be honest, I've gotten scolded about thinking that my body of work isn't enough. I don't know. It's crazy.
No. So Bernadette, one of my favorite shows, what is it? All American. You're in that. So trust me, you're a scene. So you did an awesome job as the mother. You played a part as a mother, and your son died. And just that whole scene, like, I mean, it was just surreal.
I didn't want you to throw away your life for something I did. I really don't remember what happened that day. I just remember wanting the pain to stop. Knowing it wouldn't, as long as Tyrone was walking around free. I had no idea you were even there until that video surfaced. I never thought it would blow back on you.
I'm sorry for everything, Miss Ruth. You don't deserve none of this.
And neither do you. You deserve to be a kid. You deserve to grow up without the fear of violence. To live out your wildest dreams. Don't you two worry about me anymore. Go. Be free. Live for my Sean.
So, no, you're a scene. So trust me. Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
And then myself and Antoinette was bragging about, we're talking about, if we, the Sidney Poitier, like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Like,
what was it like working with Sydney?
Yes.
Well, it was amazing. Like,
As one
And
would
it was-
expect.
Yeah.
It was, but you know what? What's interesting is the casting director didn't want to call me in. She thought I was too old, and at the time, all my friends were going in, and I was like, "Nah, no, I don't look any older than they do." Like, you know, and it ended up being that she finally did call me in because I like bugged her, and my agent, I was like, you know, my agent was like, if you don't stop calling me about this audition. And she finally called me in. And Mr. Bogdanovich, who was the director, and the producers were in the room. I'll never forget the first audition, they're in the room. And I do my thing. And then he asked me how old I am. And I laugh. And I walk out. And so when I got cast, Mr. Portier immediately took the core students, right, under his wing. And he met with us. He wanted us. He didn't care what you did before that. He didn't care what accolades you had. He just took it upon himself to go, I'm going to wrap my arms around you guys. I'm going to mentor you, talk to you. This is a collaborative effort. And he is definitely one actor that didn't always stick to the script.
Oh.
So all my scenes, I'd be like, just be ready, because he could say anything. You know, but to spend that time with him before we would shoot, we would spend like an hour together before every scene. So he'd look at the call sheet. He'd tell me the night before when we were on set, hey, come to set at this time so we can talk through the scene, so we could this with that. And it was my first made-for-TV movie. So to have my very first made-for-TV movie, because college, you know, doesn't teach you how to act in front of the camera. At that time, my college didn't. So here I am, my first time acting in front of a camera for this made-for-TV movie, and my mentor is Sidney Poitier, and he's giving me all these gems of what it is to be an actor, how I need to prepare, how I need to be in front of the camera, how not to overact, how like it was just an overload. My cup was so full.
I bet it was.
Tell us what. Give us something. What was something that you remember?
I remember he said, every character you play is a facet of who you are. And he said, you know, he doesn't believe in demeaning characters. Like, would you demean yourself in real life? You know? And he says, if you can't look at yourself in the mirror and understand why you're playing that character, then you shouldn't play it. Right? And he said, because every character has a thread of connection to you. Right? And that's what brings the authenticity to every role that you play. He told me how not to overact. You know, he was like, what are you thinking about right now? Why? So the first scene that we did is like, he comes into the classroom and we're all like going amok in the class.
He must be new here.
That's right.
Don't even look like he from around here.
No, England.
Is that New England, like up in Boston?
Not New England, stupid England.
Ever been there?
Yeah, I zip over every weekend.
I stand up on the desk and I'm dancing. And I remember shooting that scene, and he comes in and he cuts. He tells Mr. Bogdanovich, we're going to cut. And he pulls me to the side and he's like, why are you dancing on the table? And I was like, huh? And he was like, why are you dancing on the table? And I was like, it says it in the script. I'm supposed to dance on the table. And he was like, no. But why? Why do you choose to get up and dance on the table?
Oh my gosh. Wow.
And that was like my first masterclass. He says, you need to have a reason why you choose out of everything else in this room to stand on the table and dance.
Did you finally answer him?
No. But he said, I'm going to keep stopping until I can see the reason why. Like,
how nervous were you? Wow.
I was like petrified. I mean, he was super, super nice. He was, but I was petrified because you have this iconic person, you know, when I'm in college, I'm looking and studying Raisin in the Sun that he's playing in, you know, and now he's talking to me and I can't give a reason why I'm dancing on the table. Like, that's how detailed he was. Like, you have to have a reason for why you do what you do. It cannot just be because it's in the script. Right? And that was like huge for me.
Yeah, that's a great piece of advice.
Yeah, just different things like that.
How was he on time management?
He was always there on time, but we would do several takes because like he would want to change the words, want to change the script. to kind of be more suitable to what he felt like he should say.
I was just curious about Mr. Portier's punctuality, because I remember when I went to Howard, and I remember we had just started, because we started in August of that summer. So I never forget, we had a teacher, I think her name was Dr. Barnick. So she said, when my door is closed, my door is closed. You cannot get in. There's no lateness. There's nothing. So we had 2 young girls running up to the door, and she was getting ready to close it, and they were late. So she was like, what is your name? So whoever it was such and such. And she said, I think something Portier. So we started laughing. We was like, oh, we know she can be late all the time. So I don't know if it was his granddaughter or
that was his daughter, because he's got 6 daughters. So that was probably the one that is
went to Howard.
Actor. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Oh, I wasn't in acting school, so it was one of those. Like, I think it was like a research class or whatever. Mm-hmm. So that's the closest I got to Sidney Poitier. Mm-hmm. So
he's a stickler. He's not late. He's not late for anything at all. And you better be on time. Yeah. So yeah, we were all like, I was so nervous. I was there way early most of the time. It was dark outside.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But he was just a gem of a man, and
that he was.
And I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe I got to work with him, and all my scenes were with him, and I couldn't believe that he was like my mentor, that I got this incredible mentor who helped me become comfortable acting in front of the camera.
Wow. You're lucky.
Yeah.
Like, you got on hand training. That's the best learning, this on hand. And you're lucky, Bernadette. You're lucky.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Yeah. He was awesome. He was awesome.
My condolences, because you lost your mentor. So
yeah, it took me a minute, because we were, it happened when we were shooting Happy Place. So people were afraid to tell me, and I happened to pull my phone out, and a news article came up, and I saw it, and I was kind of like, and I mentioned it to my husband, and he was like, I didn't want to tell you right now. Yeah. So it took me a couple of days to kind of just digest it.
Yeah.
I didn't even put 2 and 2 together, because we were just working on Happy Place, and I heard it. I was like, oh, and then it didn't process.
Yeah, it took me a couple of days to definitely process it. It's just been an interesting year. I think what I've learned in the pandemic is you have to stop sitting around and waiting, waiting to apologize, or waiting to forgive, or waiting to do that one job, or waiting to write that one thing, or waiting to shoot that one thing. Like, stop, because people are dropping like flies, and it's really daunting. This year, I mean, I know that every year we have those people that die, and it goes in threes, but I just feel like it's just extra, and it's a reminder that tomorrow's not given to us. And so if there's a way that we can, try to live our best lives, which also means the pain that life throws at you, but, processing.
Yeah, I just had something that just took me apart. I mean, I can talk about it. My son was shot, and that just, and I was at work when I found out, and that just for something random. And that just almost, like, I was like, oh my God, I'm in California, he's in Baltimore. And I kind of blamed myself, and I just broke down at work, because it's like, oh my God. The last thing I said to my son was, oh my God, I love you. And he was like, okay, Mom, I love you. I'll call you back later. So, but he's fine. He's okay. And I'm like, oh my goodness, thank God I can say tomorrow, today, I love you. And, to my kids, because I could have been burying my son, because we buried his best friend last year, the same thing, drive by shooting at him. And we live in Baltimore. So you can't take life for granted. You have to take each moment, each hour, each day. It's precious. So
yes, absolutely.
So yes.
Well, I think it's the thing. It's the theme, right? It's the theme of what advice can you give to anybody, an entrepreneur, an up and coming artist, or artists that have been doing it, doing it, not gotten their big break or whatever, Like, don't, keep going, keep showing up. Show up in life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like huge. Show up.
And it doesn't have to be
Yeah.
perfect. Just show up.
Mhm.
Doesn't have to be
Just show up.
perfect. Yeah.
That's a lesson I think a lot of us are learning.
Right. And that's sometimes in order for us to get started, we think, okay, this has to be done, this has to be done, this has to be done. And we just don't get started.
Right. And that's where I was for a few years is I kept thinking it had to be perfect. Therefore, that was causing me to not do it. So it was fulfilling my fear of moving forward and doing it versus show up, face it, go forward.
Yeah. My husband does that so well. Like all the things that he's accomplished, it wasn't because he knew how to do it. He was just willing to learn and adjust and learn and adjust and learn and adjust. And, like he's like and we were going back to when you asked like who my people I look up to. And he definitely is another one because he can turn something into nothing into something. And then he doesn't feel like I gotta have all my ducks in order to just get started. I think he trusts the process that he's going to learn and grow while he's going after it or while he's doing it, right? And you'll be able to go back and see, oh, this is when you first started. This is like a year later, several years later, 10 years later. It's just like, like being married, honestly, like, you don't know how to be married when you get married. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know about that.
It's like, you don't know how to be married when you get married. You don't know how to do that. You have to learn how to do it, and
hopefully I get to learn one day.
So how do we stay married as long as you and Jamal?
Yeah.
What's the secret?
What's the secret?
Individuality. Me allowing him to be who he is and him allowing me to be who I am. And we're very clear on what I'm strong at. He allows me to lead in that. And what he's strong at, I allow him to lead in that. He doesn't try to do my job. I don't try to do his job.
Y'all have that symbiotic relationship. It's like, I can see that y'all are like homeboys. Like you're his road dog, right? Like, cause when y'all working together, you can look at him, he can look at you. And then it's like, y'all can look at each other.
And you just said a whole paragraph.
You just said a whole paragraph. Or even if we weren't set, you were standing here, he was across there, and you did something, he did something. He was like, okay. And then he course corrected. I was like, oh, wow. So y'all are like best, you can tell that y'all are best of friends. And that is just evident. Like that is just a role model of a marriage because y'all are best friends first. And it's obvious and you can see it. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. We're definitely, we came into our own together, which is kind of cool. You can't always do that with someone, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I've learned how to be a better person, a better wife, a better friend because of him. And he's definitely learned because of me. And he's a visionary. And so it's a trust factor, because when somebody's a visionary, you can be rich or you can be poor. You can be broke a lot.
Yeah.
Because everything's not going to manifest into something. It's an idea, and a visionary implements every idea, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes ideas are a miss and sometimes they're not. But he is the one that taught me to trust what God has given me and jump, both feet, jump, and he's been the wind to keep me flying all these years.
How long y'all been married?
22 years.
And isn't that good for Hollywood?
It's very good for Hollywood. Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying that it's rare.
22.
Whether you're in Hollywood or not, it's rare that you still. I mean, we're still crazy about each other. Yeah. Even after being with each other for so long, and we've gone through the gamut of life stuff, and it's only made us stronger. So it's been pretty awesome, and we both are looking forward to the next decade of life
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
Or that's gonna
we need a
provide.
Speaks podcast to find out the secret.
Yeah, we do. Yes. I'll tune
That
into
would
that.
be fun.
Yes, that would be fun.
Yeah. I think if you have a person that's in your life that has deep waters, you got to know how to let the water drain.
Yeah, I
You
like
know?
that.
You got to learn, what does that take? What does that mean for you? And some people, you know, and you have to, and if you know you come into the relationship with baggage because of whatever, right? It could be from the caretakers, those that took care of you, how you grew up, things that happened to you. You're going to bring that into a relationship, but you got to work on you to make the relationship healthy. You know, it's a constant process. I don't work on Jamal, and Jamal does not work on me, you know? And even if we're at an impasse, I let him be, we both trust each other enough that we allow each other to be at that impasse, because forcing him to be where I am or him forcing me to be where he is not, that's not gonna work. You know what I mean? You have to allow the person to arrive and come to their, like, surrendering or their letting go of their expectations, whatever it is that they've got to do. You've got to let them come to that on their own while you're doing the same thing. And usually when we do that, we become like that, you know, and we end up back on the same page, you know. And we have codes, like when he's like, baby, can I be honest? I know I need to stop what I'm doing and be completely focused on what he has to share with me, because usually he's sharing something that's very hard. And then for me, I'll say, babe, can I talk to you? Or, you know, and he'll be like, he'll go, what'd I do?
Uh-oh.
Like, you didn't do anything, you know? And so it's I don't know. It's definitely a miracle, because we both don't come from backgrounds where relationships lasted. You know, we both come from single parent households. So his parents didn't stay together. My parents didn't stay together.
So does that make you feel like you tried harder?
Yeah.
What it did was it made me realize I can't bring my issues and put them on top of him as if he's the one that caused it. Does that make sense? Like, I have to kind of unpack and go, how much is really him and how much is really my past?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
the armor that I've put on because of this, that, or the other, or the lack of trust because of this, that, or the other. And so how much is really him and how much is my past? And usually 10% is the person that you're with, and 90% is whatever happened to you before you got in that relationship. You know what I mean? And so it takes a lot of humility to be able to own your stuff. And it takes a lot of love, because love is an action. It's not, I tell my kids this all the time, love is an action. It's not an emotion. It's an action. When you love somebody, you're willing to put yourself aside, not be stepped on, not be, you know, demeaned, not be disrespected, but you are willing to go, you mean enough to me that I'm going to put what I want over here, and I'm going to focus on giving you what you want, pouring into you. You know what I mean? And so in doing that, we've learned to love each other even deeper and a lot more, you know, and even working together. We couldn't do that well at the beginning.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really. We could not do that well at the beginning, and we had to figure it out. And
because
so,
you love working together?
Well, now we do, absolutely. But it's funny because we do our best when he's my AD and I'm the director. If he's in any other position, we don't do well.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And you know, because you started with us when he was my DP, right?
I know.
Yeah. But we figured out.
I didn't really, I didn't mind. Yeah. So no, I didn't see what you guys saw.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it was funny because after that short film, Renee, was called The Imaginist. We sat down and was like, what was good? What was not good? How did you feel? How did you feel? What can we do better? Because we always do that. And I said, I think we work better when you're my AD. And so the next two projects, he came on as my AD and not my DP, and I got a different DP. And so the energy of who he is and the energy of Dave, who I've now worked with, meshes with who I am, you know, because I know my husband, I already know he wants me to be successful, right?
Yeah.
But I also know his job is to make sure I get all my shots in, but also make sure he's keeping mindful of the clock, but also the sun, right? And he allows me to be creative in my own creative way, my own space of how I do it. And Dave is like my muse. Like we mesh really well that way. And my husband and I don't necessarily mesh really well that way. But he is a controller and he likes to be in charge. And so him being my AD, I'm like, do you think, baby? And I listen to him because I know, okay, I've got to be a little quicker in my and how I execute what I've got to do, And so it's figuring that out. Like, oh, we work really good together when you're here and I'm here versus you're here and yeah.
Yeah.
So, after 22 years, we figured it out.
Yeah.
Well, I really love that you came on and were sharing your story as a leading lady to all of our viewers.
Yes.
Do you have an upcoming project besides your one-man show, can we call it? Your poem, your mother's advice, what was it called?
It's called Diagnosed. So hopefully if I get picked for this project, it would shoot like April, May, and come out in July.
Oh, cool.
But as an actor, I have 2 projects getting ready to come out. So a Netflix project called First Kill, and MC Light's directorial debut short film called Break Up in Love.
Oh, okay,
so those are going to be coming out this year, and then I'll be debuting my 2 films, my director's cut of PRIVOKE and Happy Place.
Cool.
Yeah. And then hopefully moving on to a feature, which is my next thing to tackle.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so ready, guys. I'm so
sure
ready.
you be available because I may need you for Gritty. So,
Oh, well, I will.
I need my I need my A-lister there.
I totally be available for Gritty. Absolutely. I would love to be in it.
It's in Baltimore. It's in Baltimore. Does that mean
my family's in Baltimore, so I will get to see them.
Oh,
my brother-in-law lives in Maryland. My mother-in-law lives in Philly. Yep.
Okay, well, good.
Yeah,
so it's no excuse.
No excuse at all.
It ain't.
No excuse at
all. Well, how can people find you if they want to follow you or find out when your releases are coming out?
Official Bernadette Speaks is my IG. That's the main one that I'm on. And then I'm working on my website, which is BernadetteSpeaks.com, which will be ready next month.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for being our leading lady this week. And thank you for everyone for listening.
Thank you, Antoinette. Thank you, Renee. Thank you so much, ladies.
Okay, well, for more of our content, you can follow us on our social media at heep_ent. That's HEEP_ENT. And if you have feedback, questions, or collab pitches, or anything you want to tell us, you can reach our team at heepent@gmail.com. And you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Antoinette Westcott. Renee L. Paige is her social media handles. And until next time, see you guys later.
Gals.